Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than what we're used to. In my last three videos, I kind of went over some video game hardware and why I like it, and just kind of did a little bit of a explanation, talking head kind of video. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing cosplay. So, a little bit of background on me. I enjoy doing cosplay. I've made a solid few costumes. Most of them were, mostly for learning purposes, so they weren't exactly presentation quality. However, today we're going to be aiming to make a cosplay costume that we can wear to a Ren-Fair. And of course, I waited till the week before said Ren-Fair to make my costume. So I've always wanted to kind of make a Legend of Zelda costume. So I'm going to be doing Ocarina of Time Link, specifically the tunic, the pants, and the cap. And I have some boots that kind of fit it, and I may figure something out for the gloves. We won't be covering the sword or shield. We may do that in a future video, but it's just whether or not I kind of have the energy to do that or the time. So, in this video, we're going to be doing the tunic, pants, and cap. So, yeah, let's jump right into the design phase. Okay, now that we have our design, we can move on to the pattern making and cutting, sewing bit of the process. So for that, I'll set stuff up in my room because I don't have enough room here to be cutting out fabric. And before I do that, we should probably talk a little bit about the process that I'm going to be using for this. I'm going to be taking, I'm going to be taking an old shirt that I have that roughly approximates the kind of style of shirt that I'm going to be making. It'll need to probably have a little bit added onto the bottom, and we'll make a few modifications to the actual pattern of this shirt, but overall it kind of matches what we're going for. So we're going basically to be taking this, not apart, we can actually keep it together to do this. We can just lay it out and kind of roughly trace the different panels from this onto our fabric that we're going to use, which is this lovely green fabric that I found at a local thrift store. It's just going to be perfect for this. It's got a really nice texture to it. It's got a little bit of give, a little bit of stretch, and I actually got fortunate enough to find green and white in that exact same fabric, so it should all match, kind of give that costumey, video gamey kind of feel. A lot of games, back in the day, especially on the N64, were the textures and polygons were rather minimal, so they didn't have a whole lot to work with, so it was all kind of very monotone. Is there a mono texture? Maybe. Either way, yeah, it should give it kind of that video gamey feel. First, we'll start with the tunic. The pants should be also relatively straightforward. We'll do kind of the same process as the tunic. For the pants, tracing out some existing pants that kind of fit how we want them to, and then make some adjustments and modifications from there, and just roll with that. So yeah, let's get to it. Don't mind the train whistle. They don't know I'm recording in here. Okay, so this is that beautiful fabric I was talking about. You can see it's got this kind of really interesting kind of weave to it that I just really like. But so the basic idea of what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to keep it in halves and lay it out. Okay, so as we can see from our design, we basically just want the entire shirt to be the same color, the same texture, the same material. So that's simple enough. For that, we're going to be taking this old shirt, which fits rather loose on me, which actually for this costume works really well, because that means that it's going to bunch nicely at the waist and kind of flow down towards the bottom, which is great. I did draw the pants a little bit too low, so it is supposed to kind of come down almost to your knees. So we'll make some adjustments to that, because this doesn't go quite that far. But you can see that it's basically just made up of different segments. Like there's a seam right here, which follows up along the shoulder bit, right? And comes up to this shoulder seam right here, and that makes up this front chest panel. So essentially what we're going to do is just isolate this panel and cut that out of this. And we need two of those, obviously. Unfortunately for us, the fabric is not the same on both sides, so we're going to have to keep that in mind a little bit. So basically we have it kind of laid out here, and we will just lay this guy down and see what we get. No? Okay, so you can see that this isn't actually quite long enough. I'm going to need to add probably about, say half a foot to the bottom, which will be easy enough. We'll just measure out half a foot at the bottom of our you'll see what I do. You'll see what I mean. All right, so I've done a bit of a fitting, and we've established that I should add about half a foot. I'll add probably a little bit more than that, just so we have something to hem with and something to some leeway. So if we need to make it shorter, we can. But we can't add fabric, so better to cut on the too big side. So let's start laying it out, baby. I should probably note, I am by no means a professional at this. There's probably much better ways to do this, like just buying a pattern, but that requires, buying a pattern, which we don't all want to do, and we can't all necessarily do. So I think it's still valuable to, to do it the wrong way. We will just see how that goes for us, I suppose. Now, usually you would want to use chalk to mark this so that it comes off easily. I've never had much luck with chalk. I probably should just get some sewing specific chalk markers for this, but I just use Sharpie. Sorry. So yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So let's do just about 6 inches. Let's go with 8 inches. Let's go right here, 8 inches. Okay, so now we've got that set out, and now we need to figure out exactly where this seam and sleeve go. All right, so now we've got our very simple pattern kind of cut out and pinned so that it will kind of where we need to sew it. So what we're going to do is sew the shoulders and the side seams, and then we'll do a little bit of a try on to see if it fits, see how it fits, and then we'll continue to tailor from there. So for the sewing, we're going to use my new thing that I picked up. This guy, which is a beautiful new old sewing machine that I picked up at the secondhand store for like $30, which is awesome considering what this thing can do. I said that like it's something special. It's just a sewing machine. It doesn't do anything more than most sewing machines do. It's just that my other sewing machine kind of sucked. Like it was great. It was good for kind of your usual sewing projects, but this thing just punches through fabric like nothing I've ever used, which is awesome. Yeah, the first thing I did on this was test how much fabric it could go through. So I layered 8 layers of denim, and it just chewed through it like butter. So that was a new experience for me. So yeah, classic old Singer sewing machine. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, especially in this kind of retro blue color. I think it's just beautiful. So yeah. So that's what we're going to be doing right now, is sewing that guy. So my battery's running kind of low, so I'm gonna probably run all the thread and everything, spin the bobbin up, and do all that. Probably with just a little B-roll clip. You can so you can enjoy that while I do the work. Hello. So it's been a day, and okay, so while I love this machine, it's beautiful and awesome. I did get it used. It is very old, and so there was a little bit of finagling that I had to do to get it to work right. I had to buy new bobbins. The bobbin I was using was wrong. There was a broken piece in the tension control. I had to figure out the settings and everything, so that took like a whole day. I did manage to get the full outer layer of the tunic done. So now we have this whole outer layer completed, and I'm going back to the drawing board a little bit. Just a little bit. So originally I had planned to just do green for the tunic, white for the underclothes. However, after having done the tunic, I found that I didn't exactly have enough white fabric. I had the exact same amount that I have for this tunic, but given that this tunic and the sleeves and the hat took up essentially the entire amount of fabric that I had, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a full body suit in white, which is kind of just part of that. It's kind of just part of thrifting your fabric. Sometimes you don't have the amount that you need, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But because I want all of these fabrics to kind of match and kind of go together, I am going to doing a white liner. So essentially the exact same pattern as the tunic, but in white, and then we're going to mate those two in reverse and then just fold it inside out. Shouldn't see any seams on the sides, and that should be great. And I'll do the same for the sleeves. I'm debating whether or not I'll do the same for the hat. And the idea is that this will give it the same kind of visual motif? The same kind of visual idea as the original with the fully white interior, the white inner suit and then the green tunic over that. But because I don't have enough to make like a bodysuit that's white, I'll kind of evoke that with a white liner. And the lapels will be open, and so you'll be able to kind of see that and get that. So that's what we'll be working on today, is doing the liner for this. And that should go a lot faster because now I have this all working kind of how I want it, hopefully. And then so we'll make the liner, and then we'll attach the sleeves, and that should essentially be the entire costume done because I'm not doing that inside suit. I have a pair of white-ish pants. We'll do a fitting. If I decide they don't really go together, then I will go ahead and figure something else out for the pants. But as of right now, I think those should work. They kind of have that earthy kind of vibe to them, which makes sense because, you know, he's an elf from the forest. You know, it kind of makes sense. But let's just get right into it. Let's get cutting for the white fabric. Should be very straightforward. That should be an easy one to do. Yeah. So let's get cutting. We've got our white fabric laid out. Now I'm going to be essentially just cutting exactly the same pattern as I used for this out of the white. So we'll just jump right into that. I will actually just go ahead, fold this in half, and because these two are literally the exact same on both sides, it'll be fairly easier, a bit easier than the one I was using the shirt. Right there. Okay, so we've got our other pieces cut out of white, and now we will essentially just be getting to sewing them directly onto their counterpart in green, so that when we fold them inside out, the seams go the right way. So you'll see these are both the non-textured side, and if we sew along this line, then we flip it inside out, and boom, Bob's your uncle. You essentially have this kind of a seam, right? Where the seam is on the inside and you can't really see the stitching. So that's great, that's what we want. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take both textured sides of the green. Oh no. Oh no! Did I not think this through? I'm gonna have to re-sew everything that I already sewed. because I put the panels together, but they need to basically just be stuck together. So I'll get on resewing that. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of a voiceover here because my explanation in the video, not super explanatory. Essentially what happened is that the green panels that I sewed before need to be unstitched, because in order to add the liner, I need to have each panel separate so that I can sew the white liner panels on separately. So those are essentially the exact same panels, but I need to sew them untextured side to untextured side, and in order to do that, I needed to unstitch all the work that I had already done. This was a particular pain because the thread I used was a heavy-duty thread, which is, you know, a bit tougher to cut, and on top of that I used a zigzag stitch, so that means I just have more thread to cut in general. All in all, it wasn't too difficult, just a bit of a setback in terms of time, and I did end up having to finish the job with my old sewing machine, just because I was running into some issues with the new old one. So yeah, just a little bit of an explanation of what's going on here. I wasn't in a super explanatory mood when I ran into this issue, so I'm coming back while editing and adding this. But yeah, now back to the video. this is it. This is the final costume. I'm honestly really happy with how it turned out. Full disclosure, we went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. I didn't get any footage just because, you know, I'm kind of socially awkward and not super used to filming in public right now. I may do that kind of further down the line, and once it starts to get a little bit more fall around where I am, I do want to get a little bit of B-roll of this costume out in the wild, in the woods somewhere, really getting character with that. But until then, this will be kind of how you see the costume, you know. I think it's honestly really, really great. It's one of my favorite costumes that I've made. I think it's probably one of the highest fidelity costumes that I've made. Most of my costumes, while I do love wearing them and I do love looking at them and just kind of seeing how cool they are, most of them, if you like look inside at all the seams and everything, they're pretty jank. My Batman costume, which right behind the camera, I may show at some point, but I'll probably do a video redoing that costume because of a number of reasons. You'll see that later. But the gist of it is that costume, I dyed some cloth and it's really patchy, and it works fine. You know, it's serviceable, but I want to take this approach more. I want to have a high fidelity, comfortable costume to wear, because even though it was like around 30 degrees yesterday, we were outside walking around for the whole time, this is actually fairly comfortable, fairly breathable, and I had a good time wearing it. There wasn't really a point where I was like, I need to get this costume off of me because it's uncomfortable, and I've had that before at cons, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, and yeah, the Renaissance Fair was honestly super great. I had a lot of people come up to me and you know, want to talk about their costumes and my costume and costuming together, and that was really fun. There was this one kid who just really wanted a picture with Link, and it was like his favorite character or something, but that's honestly my favorite part of cons is the children getting to kind of see their favorite characters, their heroes, in real life, and kind of see that idea, see that character realized and physicalized, because it's just they're so into it, and I know we're kind of coming out of, as an internet society, we're kind of coming out of the idea of cringe culture, and so it's a little bit more common to see people just into their characters, their games, comics, and etc. But it's still just it's so genuine with children, and seeing how happy they are when they see their favorite character realized. It's honestly just such a great time. So yeah, I do want to do more of these videos where we do costumes and cosplay. So, but I mean, let me know what you think of it. If you liked the video, if you want more of this kind of video, let me know. It's definitely something I would like to do more of, and I probably will do more of. But yeah, I love doing this and wearing costumes and going to cons and Renaissance fairs and things. But yeah, as far as next steps for this costume, I definitely want to make a Master Sword. That'll probably be a video. I want to make some like Breath of the Wild style mushrooms to kind of hang off my belt, and like a pouch or something. So just kind of flesh the costume out a little bit more. I was a little bit time crunched for this one, just because of my own choice of when to go to the Renaissance Fair and when to make this video. But yeah, I definitely want to make the Master Sword and some other props for along my belt. I'd want to make some more well-fitted boots, potentially, or if I can just find them, just, you know, buy them. But yeah, that is my Link costume, you know. I'm very happy with it. I think it worked out really well, and I think it's a sign to me that I can actually, you know, I can make quality costumes. A lot of the times, yeah, I kind of just want to get the costume done, and this is something that kind of proves to me it's worth it to take that extra time, go a little bit slower, and really make it what you want it to be, and you'll be, you know, just a lot happier with it in the end. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you want more, leave that in the comments. Yeah, if you have any costume making tips, also please leave those in the comments. If you noticed anything that I did wrong, and I'm sure there is plenty, go ahead and leave that also in the comments. Yeah. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and happy gaming.